Make sense? So far, any question? Does this look like something that you can do?
I have a question though.
Yeah.
How about if, because the two diagnostic questions, is basically a question good for people who are religious or not religious, but the agnostic does not believe in God at all.
Right.
So when you ask the question, they're saying, I don't know where I'm going, I don't care where I'm going. You know,
Good.
so when I die, so my time is up. So
Right.
what?
Yep.
So that is something that we also maybe need to.
Yep. Do you know, for an agnostic or an atheist, right, people who don't believe in the existence of God, do you know that secretly, when they are nearing to death, on their deathbed, they will question themselves the real question. Is this really all there is to life? Am I just disappearing into nothingness? Am I going to disappear to thin air? What if they are right? You know, these are all the questions that they have inside, but they do not admit it. Yeah, so that is why it is so important for us to build a friendship until this person truly trusts us. Yeah, and then we want to make our testimony and our life salty enough for them to see, hey, there is something different about your life. You seem to have a hope. You know what I mean? And then you can use the same technique that I just used just now. Suppose if you are right and I'm wrong. We both die, there is no heaven, there is no earth. There is no harm in listening to my story. Right? Just treat it as a story, a good story from a good friend. But suppose if I'm right and you are wrong. There is a heaven and there is hell. Don't you think it is wise for you to listen to my story? Don't you think that these stories are going to be very relevant to you? Because 1/3 of the world's population, they believe in the existence of heaven and hell. Actually, not 1/3. Yeah? If including all the other major religions, that there is more than 2/3, right? So don't you think that this is you need to at least listen to the greatest story ever told? Then they will, oh, okay, go ahead. Because they got nothing to lose if they hear it. But if they don't listen to your story, they have everything to lose. You see? It makes sense, right? So normally people will listen at the end. Because they are logical, you want to play along their logic. Right? If you listen to my story, you got nothing to lose. But if I'm right and you are wrong, you are in a very dangerous position because you're not prepared for the afterlife. Right? So it works. It works in the past. Because actually, secretly, they are afraid of dying as well. Right? Yeah.
So I think, so I'm like thinking about it, I kind of agree with Pastor Ken's point earlier. But I think the diagnostic question is very, it's like focused on heaven a lot. And I think like personally from my experience, like I think that when we fall in love with God first, right? We don't believe in God or fall in love with God because, there's this heavenly presence waiting for me. So personally, when I met God, it was not really about, I want to get into heaven. It's really like, I fall in love with God. I had a relationship with God. He's really healed me.
True, but remember.
And then I realized, wow, God's heaven is a promise that comes.
True, but you are speaking from the standpoint of somebody who has experienced that love.
Yes.
Who has experienced that grace. Remember, we are relating with people who have no knowledge whatsoever about it.
Yeah, so what I think, like just from my perspective, is to introduce that love of God. Like, do you know that God loves you? You're in all this pain. And then, like, the heaven kind of comes in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I
Instead
think
of like a scare tactic, like you're gonna die, let's go to heaven. I'm just kind of thinking about it right now. And from my experience, when I evangelize with people, to people, I've always done it from the earliest one. Like, God loves you so much, and then Holy Spirit leads me to pray for them, and they start crying, stuff like that, and then they accept God. So I think this is a good strategy, but I think this is not the only one.
You know, God doesn't use a specific method to reach out to a person.
Yeah.
right.
He used people with a method.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
So
if it works, I mean, this is just one of the methods out there that work. But what the reason why we use the two diagnostic questions is we want to bring this certainty of death right before their face. Because this is something that we all have to face one day.
Because
And
that's the ultimate, that's the
Exactly.
ultimate answer to the unknown question.
Yeah.
And I think relating to this question is basically the message of don't get too fast on the diagnostic question.
exactly,
You know, because in all the issues now, whether you talk about the form or the personal testimony, everything leads to a relationship. Ultimately, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
it's about relationship.
that's right.
You know, I think when that is being shared, the form and personal testimony, after a while, when that relationship is being recognized and restored, then it goes to, there is something that's even better than that.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
so
excellent
that
answer.
is ultimately, and that could take months later
Right, right. Very good. So
before we get to
the reason why we do it in this specific order is we want to have a chance to share the gospel to them in the first place. And normally if you start to talk about God and His love and all that, and this person is like irrelevant to them. The moment they hear God and all that and they see like you are going to talk about a spiritual conversation with
Yeah.
them, they build a wall straight away.
right?
You know what I mean? So they shut the door in your face even before you have a chance to try.
Right.
And later on, you're going to see, we're going to talk about grace, we're going to talk about man, we're going to talk about God, we're going to talk about Christ, and we're going to talk about faith. You have plenty of time to talk about God's love in there. But we just want a chance for us to enter. And the two diagnostic question is a very good door opener. Yeah.
You know, from my experience, and the second one, your personal testimony in that building relationship, I usually portray God's love through my actions.
Yeah.
You know, without even bringing the word God, but that will build curiosity for them, like putting salt in their lips, and they'll start wondering when the opportunity comes. And you know, experiences in the past, I love evangelizing people, you know, but I think I left so much truth in the opportunity that was given, in the sense of saving faith, because the heaven and hell questions, it connects to that saving faith at the end. And there's so much Christians that I personally evangelize that I missed in presenting it clear enough, and a lot of them was dependent on good works. A lot of them depended on, I am not sure, until today. And that big questions, whether you are really safe already at the first place. You know, so to me, with this kind of form, it teaches us to be clear. It teaches us not to compromise. And again, after relationship being built, right? I think it's a good way for us to also learn.
Straight. Okay, so we've learned a lot of stuff. And in the next session, you're going to see how we can get even better, right? Because we have done the friendship building stage. Now we are ready to go into the gospel presentation, right? And now you're going to learn how to dress these 5 points, the man, the grace, man, God, Christ, faith, how you can add illustrations to them, how you can add stories to them, to make it really relevant, to make it really interesting. If you like, the 10 points are like the skeletons, right? The stories are like the meat and the clothing, to make your whole presentation looks very appealing and very interesting, very relevant. And it's very, very effective because you are making a point through stories, through illustrations. And that's a method that Jesus used. He liked to use parables to make a point. And when that person leaves, they will unmistakably understand the concept about Jesus, what Jesus has done on the cross for them. Yeah. But before that, let's take a quick break, 5 minutes. After that, Pastor Hans and myself, we're going to do a mock-up trial. You're going to see the full demonstration of how we do the whole thing. Okay, sounds good?
All right.
Let's take a 5 minutes break. Get your coffee, go to the toilet, do whatever you want.
some coffee, man. Good to see you.
All right, Nelson. I gotta get going, man.
You gotta get going.
Yeah, I gotta get going, but thank you so much.
You can stay.
Yeah, I can't stay.
The best thing is going to come on.
I'll look at a video.
Where you going, man?
Out of work, man.
Oh, yeah.
Let's meet you, bro. All right, bro.
Alright.
Yeah.